Welcome back to another video. I'm Mom Haudipila, and yeah, this is Mom How Unchained, and this is one of those unplanned videos. But I don't know if I'm mad or I just need to vent or just share a little bit of advice with you on how to spot bad contractors. So I've done many renovations and we've done this house building thing, and I've had my fair share of bad contract. This week I'm here because I have a project that I needed to get done. So basically it was supposed to start yesterday and I've been here for 2 days now. So I came in Monday hoping the work will start yesterday, and then it will give me like about 3 or 4 days, and then I can go back to Joburg and just, finish up picking up the house before I come back here for the December holidays. But unfortunately, this is one of those cases where I'm dealing with an unreliable contractor, and yeah, it's really getting me frustrated. So I just wanted to share with you some of the signs that will give you a hint that you are about to get into a deal with a bad contractor. And if you can avoid it, please do that. Save yourself some time, save yourself some headache, and also save yourself some money, because you are most likely going to end up in a situation where you're either going to have things redone. I think it's just the universe saying, stay away from this person, and I've learned a few over the years. One of the first things that I have noticed about bad contractors is if they take too long to give you a quotation. If you call a contractor and you want work done and they say, I will come on a certain date, and they don't show up, don't follow up with them. Move on to the next. That is one of the telltale signs that, number one, they are disorganized or they are overwhelmed, and you will not be a priority to them, most likely. And I have learned to listen to that voice, and I think this time I decided to let it slide, because the company that actually recommended this contractor is a reliable company, and you want to trust them. But one of the telltale signs I can tell you is if you have to beg them to come and do a quotation for you, just let them be. Don't even bother following up with them. Number two, if they show up to your site to come and give you a quotation and they're not taking notes, run the opposite direction. Don't even waste your time with them. Number one, they will always forget stuff. On a site, there's always a lot of stuff that you talk about. Some of the stuff is not even related to the work that you're going to give them. A reliable contractor will always take notes of all the things that you consider important. If you have ideas that you want to maybe try and implement and see if you can get that into the quotation, or what is possible within your budget, if they are not taking notes, believe me, they are going to forget, and you most likely are going to forget, because we get overexcited with projects and you don't focus on the details. So if you're doing something yourself, especially if you don't have a project manager who's going to have a checklist of all the things that are things that you want done on your project, you are most likely going to forget. So if they are not taking notes, you are most surely going to miss out on the things that are actually important for your project in order for it to be successful. So look out for that. It doesn't have to be paper notes. Sometimes some of them will be taking like an audio note or something like that, but some kind of idea that they have a list of all your must-haves and those type of things. That is one thing. And one of the other signs, a good contractor will always give you dates when it comes to when they're planning to start your project and when you can expect them to finish. You don't even need to bug them for that information. If you struggle to get that information out of them, then you might be heading into a problem, because they probably don't have the experience or the proper management skills to manage a project to be able to tell you that this is the time period that it's going to take for them to complete their job. I have had projects that I know always go over time. Construction is never like set in stone, but they should be able to give you an estimate. I remember one time when I was renovating one of my closets, I had an estimation in terms of timeline for a week. So I gave the guy 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, if I tell you that we were probably halfway and still material is missing, and some people are not being paid, and they're coming to tell me that they have not been paid, but I keep being told that we will be done in 2 days. And those are the things that frustrate a lot of people on a project, because sometimes, I remember with that project, I had to send Mahao here in order for the project to be done in Joburg without her being there, to avoid all the dust and all of that stuff. But what they don't take into consideration is I have to pay for somebody to look after my child. I have to travel and bring them here in Polokwane to come and do all of that. And I still needed to work there. And I still needed to plan my trip back in between that time. And it costs you a lot of money. It costs you a lot of time when the project is poorly managed. And contractors are very bad at managing projects if you do not push them. So I've become accustomed to pushing them. In the morning, I give them a call, finding out what time they're showing up, because that is how I actually discovered that this guy who was supposed to start yesterday was not going to show up, because by 8:30 I'm checking on him, like, how far are you with the project? Yesterday he told me they started with the project but offside, and then today they were supposed to start with the installation. But when the time arrived, even before the time arrived, I gave him a call just to find out what time they're coming to start. And you get told this and that, and then later the story changes. And I could just feel it that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have come on Monday. I should have stayed for an extra 2 days. Now I'm going to have to stay longer here. And yeah, it's a bit frustrating. But one thing I can tell you is you have to be on top of contractors if you want to have a successful project. And for me, being somebody who's number one, impatient, and I'm very time conscious. When you tell me that the project will be done in a week, I'm giving you a week plus 1 day or 2 max. But now I've learned to give people a little bit of grace. But it's like the more grace you give, the more they will take from you if you don't keep pushing them. But yeah, I once had a contractor. I have so many stories when it comes to contractor. It's not even funny. One time when we were replacing our windows, one of the things that I can tell you is, if you are a couple and you're doing a project, always have one person communicating with the contractor. If the other one, maybe say your husband wants to make changes and those type of things, let them tell you the changes that they want to make, and the one person that communicates with the contractor will do so on your behalf. Because if you make it that the two of you will individually be able to contact the contractor and make changes, they will get away with not doing things, and also with mistakes, and keep pointing fingers at one or the other, saying, no, this one said this one said that. So if you have one person communicating with the contractor, you eliminate all of those misunderstanding and miscommunications and all those mess-ups that can happen. I once had a contractor who, when we were installing windows, he told my husband that I said I know somebody who is going to basically plaster around the windows. When you install aluminum windows, you have to sort of screw them in and then fill in the holes around the windows. But I didn't say that. But when they came to install, all he did was screw in the windows, and he left. He wanted to leave them like that. So basically, we were going to sleep in a house for 2 days without any plastering around the windows, and it was in the middle of winter. If I tell you, I was so cold the next morning that I had to go and sleep in my car with the engine on just so I can warm up. And because I was being stubborn, my husband was like, let's go and sleep at a hotel. But I was like, no, we can't leave the house like this with some of the windows missing and all of that. So we slept there, and I woke up the next morning feeling like I was going to die because I was so cold. But this is one of those situations where a contractor will tell one person and say, no, I'm not plastering the windows because in my quotation I didn't include it because your wife said they know somebody who's going to plaster the walls. Like, who do I know? And I called you here to come and do a full quotation in order for you to install the windows. And you decided that I said that somebody else is coming to do it. That will actually get you frustrated. And while I'm on that point, another thing to avoid bad contractors is avoid contractors will give you a quotation that is too general. When you are doing a quotation for, say for example, for kitchen installation, you need to have an itemized quote. Your quote should include, if you are going to have removal of cabinets and those type of things, you need to have a demolition code item on your code. You need to have a code for a line for material. You need to have a line for accessories and handles and those type of things. If you're doing plastering, you need to have an itemized line for plastering, so that should you decide to have one of those services given to somebody else or removed out of the code, you know how much you're going to take off from that quotation. Because I'm saying this because with some of my kitchen renovations, with some of my kitchen projects, and I've done a few kitchen projects, so not necessarily this one here in the village. With some of my kitchen projects, I've had some of the materials not being removed on site because it wasn't on the list. And my question is, if you are removing cabinets and you've got waste material that you're producing from installing the cupboard, who do you expect to remove the materials and all the rubble on site? So I need to understand on the quotation, where is demolition line? Where is the what you call refuse line? And if you've got gas installation, put an item line for gas installation. And what is included in gas installation? Are you just putting in the line for the gas, or are you also including the cylinder? And is the cylinder full or not? Guys, if I tell you the amount of stress I've been on with all of the projects that I have been doing, because contractors will always find a way to cheat you out of money, out of doing service, especially when they get a new contract while they're still on your project. Anywhere they can cut corners, they will try and do it. So when you have an itemized quote, you can go back to them and say, I did not get this, or this is not what was quoted on our quotation, because the amount of times I've had to go back on quotations and refer on some of the things that we always seem to have misunderstandings on, and those type of things. Like, I would be rich right now if I got $1 for every time somebody had a misunderstanding or a misquote on the quotation. And if they forget to quote something that you mentioned, always make sure the job gets done for free. I've had rubble removal because guys told me that they forgot to put it on a quote. I insisted that you take the rubble at your own cost away from my house and you do a post cleanup, because I told you that when you leave the site, I need a finished product. And if you don't do that, they will leave all the dirt and all the material at your house, and you now have to foot in the bill to come and get people to come and remove rubble. Here at home, rubble removal is not a big deal. But in Joburg, you need to find a dumping site, and when you get to a dumping site, you need to pay. You need to call in a skip. A skip is about 800 Rand a day. Guys, it's a lot that happens with contractors, and I wish, like, I could write a book about all of these things that I've had to deal with that contractors. But I think, I hope this message that I'm telling you, that when you're going to deal with contractors, don't allow them to bulldoze you, and always have like an ear, and always pay attention to what is happening on site, and if everything that you ask for is being done. If they don't quality check themselves, make sure you quality check them. And even if they do QC on themselves, you also come in and do QC. I had one contractor that got pissed off with me because I always test. If I, on my code request, soft closing doors, I will test each and every single door and drawer to make sure that they put in soft close, because often I've had the issue again with them putting in normal sliders, and those things make noise, they break so quickly, and they don't last long because of all the slamming of the doors. So I don't do doors that are not soft closed, so I always insist on them. And I've had contractors that said, no, I didn't ask for that. And that is always the first thing. Before we can even talk about color or cabinets, everything needs to be soft closed. So quality control everything. If they're putting in lights, test all the switches, test all the lights, and make sure that everything is connected in the right direction that it's supposed to. If I tell you that here in my house, because some of the stuff was done while I was not here, I've had to call in electricians to come and reroute some of the switches, because when you press on one switch, it switches the wrong light that is on the wrong direction. And QC is always important. Mistakes happen, and it is also your own responsibility to quality check the work that they are handing over to you. And some of these people don't even check themselves, and they get upset when you check them. So I've had to be stern and learn to test everything and report everything that I feel is not according to standard. So I think this is becoming a very long video. I just wanted to share that information with you, and I think it also helps me decompress a little bit. I was feeling a little bit stressed out and almost annoyed and irritated. I'm staying away from saying I was pissed off, because I was really pissed off that I took days to be here early, and this guy didn't even have the audacity to tell me that he's falling behind on schedule and won't be able to start the project up until I asked him. But I hope this helps somebody, and you don't have to go through all of these things that I've been through. And it's like with every project, there's always a new lesson for me to learn with contractors. But yes, I've had successes with some, but in most cases, if you have to keep chasing them, it's not worth it. It wastes a lot of time and money, and they probably won't even do a good job for you. So that is the end of the video. If you have any questions or any advice that you might need me to share with you, feel free to put that in the comment section. I most likely will respond to that. Or if you want to share your own experience on bad contractors, please do in the comment section. Maybe I will do a part 2 where I share your own issues with contractors that you have been through that I probably left out. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. I'm out, Mama Howdy Bella. Take care.